Becky, first of all, thank you very much for this interview, for giving us possibility to show your organization. But we've been on your website, but we would like you to tell us what your organization is.
Georgia Right to Life is all about restoring respect and effective legal protection for every human being from the moment of fertilization until natural death. And what that means is that we're concerned about the child in a womb who right now is not protected legally by the laws of the United States or of the state of Georgia. But we also are concerned about the elderly and the infirmed, and we want to do all we can to protect them and validate them simply because they add life to a society. The strength of a nation is determined not how the strong defeat the weak, but how the strong take care of the weak. And that's what we're all about, is educating the people of Georgia about the different areas that we're involved in.
It's a private organization or what?
It is we're a lot of nons. We're nonprofit, non-sectarian, nonpartisan, and we are a private organization without, we serve as an affiliate for National Right to Life, and they have 50 state affiliates throughout America, and we serve as affiliate National Right to Life. But we have our own corporation and our own bylaws and our own board of directors that we serve. But we're not affiliated with any particular party, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, but we're also not affiliated with any particular church, and we actually welcome folks of any faith, as long as they believe that life is precious.
Do you have any membership?
We have a database of about 220,000 families, identified pro-life family households. Now, of those, about 35,000 we would consider as active members of our organization. They're involved in our newsletter. We educate them. They're involved in local events throughout the state, and local membership.
45,000 in Georgia or around the country?
In Georgia alone, 35,000.
And do you have a listing for them?
We have we have names and addresses of 220,000 just in Georgia, and about 35,000 of those are activists. We send a newsletter every other month, and so we send it to 35,000, and we're actively always trying to increase that number to identify who out there would want to be a part of working with us financially or with time, investing their efforts in what we're doing.
Do they pay any fee, like members?
Yeah, there's a $15 annual membership, and that's a calendar year, January. So we're in right now a big push for that membership, and or any donation that's above $15 will qualify them as a member. So they don't have to fill out a form, but it's just an annual membership of $15, and we have been building that base significantly in the past 3 years.
A lot of conversations now around the abortion. Of course, abortion is a murder, and we all understand that. And what's your opinion? Let's imagine the 15-year-old girl, and she's got pregnancy. She doesn't have any money, she doesn't have any support, she doesn't remember who is the father of the child.
Right.
Yeah. What is she supposed to do? I understand that she is not supposed to make an abortion.
Right.
But what would you advise her?
Okay. Number one, what we'd want to show at Georgia Right to Life is that we're concerned about that 15-year-old. And we want to create an environment of safety and security and know that she's loved and accepted, and there's no condemnation, no judgment. Once we've established a relationship, we would encourage her to plug into many resources that are around the state. There's organizations that are called pregnancy resource centers. There's about 75 of them throughout the state of Georgia. And a pregnancy resource center are designed specifically to help women who are in an unplanned pregnancy, who want to not have an abortion but really don't know what to do. And so we want to be able to educate them and say, okay, adoption's an option, and if you place your child for adoption, here is how you can do it, and here are the zillions of ways that you can do that. If you choose to parent your child, here are the resources that are available to you, whether that is job training at the Pregnancy Resource Center, whether it's financial help, whether it's clothing and cribs. or whether what the government will help us in as far as Medicare and WIC and other things that will help them as the child is born and from that point on, and how we can plug him in. So there's lots of resources out there. Is abortion's okay? And so we always welcome opportunities to share with the media that's our friends about the many options that are out there available to that 15-year-old or whoever that has an unplanned pregnancy and what to do about it.
So is it legal, is it too easy? You can get birth the child and leave him or her in the hospital for adoption. And so what's your opinion? Why, if it's so easy, a lot of women go to abortion?
I think for the most part, it's short-sightedness. Yes, to get rid of it immediately, nobody knows you're pregnant, the abortion satisfies the short-term need. But the long-term ramifications, number one, to the child that's been aborted, but number two, the psychological and mental and physical ramifications of abortion that are proven as an effect on women is dramatic. And so I think so many just go for that quick fix. And why do we go to McDonald's instead of going home and making a salad? Because it's a lot easier to eat a Big Mac and fries than it is to go home and make a healthy salad. And so I think in that same mentality, abortion has just become so easy that people will take that option.
We know that the new governor is going to abolish the law about the legal of abortion. What do you think? Can he do it?
Well, and we know that.
Will he be able?
Right. Well, we know that Governor Perdue. We know that no state right now could totally abolish abortion, but there are some laws that can be enlisted and enacted that will further help and protect women. For example, the Woman's Right to Know bill, which is House Bill 52. It's been introduced by James Mill. And House Bill 52 is a common sense legislation that the governor is supportive of, and that legislation does just a few things. It gives the name of the doctor to the woman that is in for an abortion, tells the procedure that will occur, any of the ramifications, medical, physical, emotional, psychological. It provides alternatives. If you don't want to have an abortion, you can place for adoption, you can parent. Here are some of the things. And it talks about field development. Really, it's just basic common sense legislation that you would get for any other medical procedure. But it's not something that is enforced and done at most abortion facilities. And we would like to see that law enacted to help women. And will it reduce abortion? It might, but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to educate women and to inform them. There's a pretty good likelihood that will pass if we can get it to the floor, simply because it's common sense legislation, and so we just need to really encourage that. Another bill that Governor Perdue would like to see enacted is a tightening of the restrictions for parental consent. Right now, a 15-year-old or any underage child could go to a judge, a juvenile court judge, and ask that their parents not be informed of the abortion, and that and a juvenile judge can overrule parental notification. They don't even have to be told. And in that case, anyone could any child could go have an abortion without parental consent. And since abortion is an elective procedure, it's not an emergency procedure. If I were to take my friend's child to the hospital and they had a broken leg and I didn't have my friend's permission to perform surgery on that child, then the hospital would do nothing. But they would do it with an abortion. So what we want to do is just kind of increase that, give parents a little bit more rights to be able to tell a child that they can or cannot have an abortion, and make it not just notification, but actual consent. A parent with a photo ID has got to go with the child to an abortion facility and say, it's okay to have that surgery done. In Georgia right now, it's not required.
No.
We are not a religious organization. Now, many of us that work at Georgia Right to Life and volunteer our time at Georgia Right to Life do it because of a religious call on our lives. But we as an organization do not promote or proselytize any kind of religion. We believe that if you look at the biological effects, the economic effects, the physical effects on abortion, on Georgia, it just makes sense that we shouldn't abort our children anymore. Now, we also have the morality involved in it religiously, but that's not really with the stance that we like to take a stand on. Our stand is that we cannot afford to continue to abort 30,000 babies every year in Georgia.
And you know, contemporary medicine sometimes can understand when the child is still in the womb,
Mm-hmm.
and the medicine can tell that this child is sick,
Mm-hmm.
syndrome of Down or something
Mhm.
like this. What do you think about abortion in this situation?
Again, the question is, when is it ever right to kill a baby? And whether that baby is Down syndrome or short or tall or fat or skinny or blue-eyed or brown-eyed, when is it ever right to kill a child? And the answer is it's never right to kill a child. And if that child has Down syndrome, that's a tough situation for the parents, but I could probably give you 20 people that I know personally that are infertile parents that would love to have a child and would be willing to take a Down child if those parents aren't willing to have that child and raise it. So have the child and give it to someone who would be willing to raise the Down syndrome, because it would be difficult, and I know that's a difficult situation, but isn't it amazing that some of the very folks who will stand and say abortion should be legal all the time for all 9 months for any situation are the same people who will go to a Special Olympic event. And a Special Olympic event, as you know, is athletic events by those that are mentally challenged and are inspired as this Down syndrome kid who's 12, 13 years old runs a 100-yard dash in 35 seconds. They're inspired by the same child who they think it should be legal for them to kill. And the thing is, the point is that just because you might not think there's viability in that life or they're going to add value to the world, they do add value. They do add value. You can ask your brothers or sisters or even those of us who watch from a distance in a stadium are inspired by that Down syndrome child. And that child has just as much a right to life as you or I.